Let's start the show. What have I been playing? I've been playing a lot of Volgarr the Viking, which is a very difficult, just retro style platformer. It's not a puzzle platform. Well, a little bit, kind of, sort of, not really. It's a lot of fun. You have a spear, you have a sword, you get upgrades. It's really difficult. I have no bad things to say about Volgarr the Viking at the moment. Though, to be fair, I have not made it very far in that game. In a world where a lot of platformers coming out are randomly generated, stuff like Spelunky, where you can't memorize the level, you have to actually just get really good at the game. Volgarr is like the other side of that spectrum, where you really want to memorize the level. Aside from that, I've also been playing Final Fantasy XIV, which recently came out for digital download, which is great. So if you want to get it, you can simply Google, FFXIV digital download, and you will no doubt find it. I've been playing quite a bit of that. I don't know if it's a good MMO yet. I haven't decided. They changed a lot since I played the alpha. The alpha of the original. Now it's Final Fantasy XIV Reborn. And so it is incredibly different. The landscapes are more or less the same, but the whole they overhauled a lot of it. It is very, very different, especially compared to the last version I played, which, as I said, was the alpha. I would be showing some footage of it right now, but I don't. The EULA on that is really scary and weird. Like, it seems like maybe I might get in trouble if I were to put up any footage of it. I'm not real sure. Maybe they'll change it in the future, but for now, the way the EULA looks, it's a little creepy. So I'm trying to avoid recording footage of it. If that were the case, then I would have so much stuff up for it right now. And that's how a lot of people are doing it right now. They're scared to do anything with it, really. And I don't blame them. But overall, it's very good. I'm on my third instanced dungeon for like beginners. When you reach like level 15, you start being forced into these dungeons with groups, which kind of sucks because you've been soloing probably up until then. But at some point, you reach the first dungeon. You use this thing called the Duty Finder. Hilarious. And it will automatically put you in a group. Like, I'm a tank, so it goes, okay, you need a healer and two damage dealers. Just a standard group, nothing special. And so you pretty much sit there and wait. For a tank, it seems to take between 5 and 10 minutes, I would say. For a healer, I would think the wait would be shorter, but I can't really be sure. And for damage dealers, I'm sure the wait is probably astronomical, even though, yes, it requires 2 damage dealers, but there are so many damage dealers in the game. So a lot of Final Fantasy XIV has definitely been played over the week. If nothing else, I'll say it is a wonderful reimagining of EverQuest 2. I've also been playing some Tomb Raider. I got Tomb Raider on sale. It's like $12 on Steam or something like that, so I figured, yeah, I might as well buy it. I've played maybe 40 minutes of it. I played it for about 20 minutes and it crashed. I picked it back up a couple days later, played another 20 minutes, and it crashed. And then the Humble Bundle came out. Let's talk about what's in the Humble Bundle. So, Humble Indie Bundle number 9. We've got Trine 2 Complete Story, Mark of the Ninja, which I already owned, but I got it anyway, because it had a few games I didn't own. Eats Munchies Beta. I'm not a fan of the Eats games. I haven't checked this one out. I don't know. Maybe it's good. I don't know. Brutal Legend. I was kind of curious about that. I'm not a big Jack Black fan, but he does the voice of the main character, I guess. I don't know. And then if you pay more than the average, which is currently $4.83, so if you pay more than $4.83, which you totally should, you unlock FTL Faster Than Light if you don't already own it, which most people do. You get Fez. Not a big fan of Fez. Rocket Bird's Hard-Boiled Chicken. That game's so-so. Again, already own it. A Virus Named Tom, Bastion, and Limbo. So, see, the problem is, like, you're bound to own at least 4 of these games. Those 4 being the really good ones in here. I don't know. But I mean, for the price, even if you find just one game that's even halfway decent, you're going to make out like a bandit. So recently, my wife and I had both. I started reading Sphere. She read all the way through it. I've read it before, and then we were like, let's watch the movie. I had seen the movie before, but it had been a long time, so I had pretty high expectations because it's got like Dustin Hoffman, Sharon Stone, Samuel L. Jackson, lots of really great actors are in it, and oh man, that Sphere, the movie is if you want to know how not to adapt a novel into a screenplay, that is like a really, really good example. Because the book is so good and the movie is so horrible. And you feel so bad too, because it's Dustin Hoffman. He's an amazing actor. And then it's just so terrible. It's like I say, if you ever want to know how not to adapt a book into a movie, just read Sphere and then go watch Sphere. Because, oh man, I mean, they usually book adaptations, especially for sci-fi and action films and stuff like that, they don't go over well. There are a few exceptions. Rambo First Blood is a good example of that. Like, holy crap, they actually did a pretty good job. Okay, so here's another thing. YouTube seems to be somewhat... I haven't checked it today. Maybe they finally fixed it, but it's kind of broken, and I can't reply to comments right now. Like, it won't let me. I can't even see the comments. If I click on any of my videos, I can even try to just watch my own video, and I cannot reply to comments. So, if you've asked a question, that is why I haven't answered it yet. Also, people want to know where Guacamelee is. I kind of got stuck on the boss a little bit. He uses all the different shields, or at least I thought he was using all the different shields, so I couldn't tell the difference between the yellow shield and the green shield. As it turns out, I played some of it with my wife yesterday, and she was like calling out the colors of the shields. And you get red, blue, and yellow. There is no green shield. So there are no, you don't have to do the belly flop, body slam thing. You don't have to do it. So I think I can probably get through it on my own now. The only problem now is just overcoming the extreme difficulty of it. But other than that, I think we're good. So there should be a new Guacamelee up pretty damn soon, I hope. Because I have a ton of Guacamelee footage on my hard drive. It is taking up a lot of room, so I need to get that out of there. So, yes, new Guacamelee very soon as I can get past the boss. I don't think my color blindness is going to be the problem anymore, so that's good. So, a new Katamari game. Well, it's not new. It's been out for like a year or something. Anyway, it's out on the Vita. It is called Touch My Katamari, first of all, which is just a great title. But the interesting thing about it, I was reading a review on it, and I realized they were absolutely right. They add nothing to their sequels. Like, it's worse than Dynasty Warriors in terms of trying to reinvent themselves. They add nothing to the sequels. It's just more of the same every time. And it's kind of disappointing. But then again, when you look at the game mechanic, how much more can you do with it? I don't know. Maybe there's more. I know with the Touch My Katamari... you can squeeze the Katamari and expand the Katamari with the touch, hence the term Touch My Katamari. But yeah, I don't know. I think they need to get on that. Make it a little more interesting. The story's always really weird, so that's a plus. Dark Souls 2 is supposed to be coming out March 11th, 2014. What would I like to see in the new version of Dark Souls 2? I would like it to be... easier and less confusing, because I suck at that game. So the Xbone, aka Xbox One, apparently Microsoft is looking for some new like original exclusive TV programs, which is interesting. Except for the fact that you're a fucking video game console, you stupid shit. Honestly, I don't give a fuck about TV. That does not help me. It doesn't make me want to buy your crappy console. Okay? It doesn't pique my interest at all. I don't care how good the show is. I just don't care. Just focus on video games. How about that? How about just focus on making some good games first? It doesn't have to be all about TV. In fact, no one cares. I seriously doubt people care that much about the television shit on the Xbox. Ugh. Alright, so what's in the news? We've got EA shares fall after Wilson named CEO of EA. Not all that interesting. It's probably pretty typical for anytime a new CEO comes in. I think shares tend to drop some because they don't know what's going to happen. So unfortunately, the PS4's, I don't know, is it still called the Eye? I don't know. It's like the Kinect. It will be supporting gesture controls and voice controls, although it will not be bundled with the console like the Kinect will, which is nice. I think that that's a good thing. I don't want any of that. I don't care about it. You know, if I really give a damn, I will just fork out the $60 later and buy the stupid thing. Okay, so this is something I care about. All right, so the PlayStation 3, the HDMI port has HDCP on it, which basically means that it checks to see if the device that you are plugging it into is registered. Normally, this doesn't matter. If you're just plugging it right into your TV, that's fine. Nobody really cares. But if you're like me and you want to record game footage from it, suddenly that's a huge problem because it's not going to let you. So you end up having to do either one of two things. One, you can either use the AV cables to record from, although it's not really very good HD, and it'll be interlaced. You'll have to de-interlace it and deal with all that crap, and it looks like crap anyway at the end. So screw that idea. The other way you can go is you can convert the signal into digital, like DVI, and then bring it back into HDMI. And if the HDCP gets lost in the process, well, then that's just, oh well. But the unfortunate side effect of that is that you end up paying anywhere between an extra $60 to $100 just to get the proper recording setup, assuming you want to record digital HDMI. So the PS4 will not have the HDCP, which is wonderful. Lots of people say HDCP protection, which makes no sense. It's like saying the Nintendo NES. That's the Nintendo Entertainment System. Makes no sense. Naughty Dog claims they wanted to change the industry with The Last of Us, which mainly because they wanted to have a good, positive, non-sexualized female character. But she's like 12, so I would feel pretty weird if you sexualized her anyway. Also, you didn't change the industry because you spent so much time focusing on the story that the gameplay is kind of shitty. This is like the story of the month. Easily. This is easily the story of the month. Grand Theft Auto 5 sales reach $1 billion in 3 days. I didn't know that many people even liked Grand Theft Auto. I mean, I like it fine, but it's not something I buy at launch. Holy shit. 3 days, that is a new record for any form of media. By contrast, the Avengers, which was the previous record holder, it took them 19 days to reach 1 billion in sales. 19 versus 3 days. Holy shit. That's ridiculous. It's too much. It's just too much. I don't even know I don't know. It's too much. And the game, it says right here, the game minted 800 million on launch day alone. 800 million in one day. Did you know how much money that is? This is so much money. Fuck. Oh. All right, so I'm all out of ideas for meme face of the week, so I'm just going to try to do something. And in this case, I found this on the internet a long, long time ago, so I thought I'd try to read it. There will probably be a lot of jump cuts because I'm probably going to screw it up a lot, but here we go. If Dr. Seuss were a technical writer, here's an easy game to play, here's an easy thing to say. If a packet hits a pocket on a socket on a port, and the bus is interrupted as a very last resort, and the address of the memory makes your floppy disk abort, then the socket packet pocket has an error to report. If your cursor finds a menu item followed by a dash, and the double-clicking icon puts your window in the trash, and your data is corrupted because the index doesn't hash, then your situation's hopeless and the system's gonna crash. If the label on the cable on the table at your house says the network is connected to the button on the mouse, but your packets want to tunnel on another protocol that's repeatedly rejected by the printer down the hall, and your screen is all distorted by the side effects of Gauss, so your icons in the windows are as wavy as a souse, then you may as well reboot and go out with a bang, cause as sure as I'm a poet, the sucker's gonna hang. When the copy of your floppy's getting sloppy on the disk, and the microcode instructions cause unnecessary risk, then you have to flash your memory and you'll want to ram your ROM, quickly turn off the computer, and be sure to tell your mom. Alright, that does it for me. I will see you guys next time. I gotta go do some dishes. Then you may as well reboot and go. Then you may as well reboot and go out. Oh.